Well, Vice President Kamala Harris confirmed she played a pivotal role in President Biden's decision to withdraw U.S. troops from Afghanistan in an interview with CNN's Dana Bash on Sunday.
He just made a really big decision. Afghanistan.
Yes.
Were you the last person in the room?
Yes.
And you feel comfortable?
I do. And I'm going to add to that. This is a president who has an extraordinary amount of courage. He is someone who I have seen over and over again make decisions based on what he truly believes, based on his years of doing this work and studying these issues, what he truly believes is the right thing to do. And I'm going to tell you something about him. He is acutely aware that it may not be politically popular or advantageous for him personally. It's really something to see. And I wish that the American public could see sometimes what I see.
Well, she also echoed Biden's reaffirmation on the decision to leave Afghanistan, tweeting, "For 2 decades, our courageous service members put their lives on the line in Afghanistan. We will always be grateful and proud. Ending U.S. military involvement in Afghanistan is the right decision." We do have new Hill-HarrisX data on the vice president's job approval number, so let's go ahead and take a look.
The poll found a slight dip in Harris' numbers from 47% support last week to 46% this week, a slight uptick in her disapproval numbers. What I thought was so remarkable, Alyssa, in that interview that she did with Dana Bash was her genuine surprise that Joe Biden would do the political calculation and then do something different than that. Like, she seemed serious. Like, no, you're really not going to believe it. This guy does stuff that isn't politically obviously beneficial to him. No, I wish you could be there. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And so for that reason, I'm glad that she's kind of yoked to this decision. So if she does become president, and if she kind of surges troops back into Afghanistan, that's politically problematic for her.
That's true. There is like a built-in accountability mechanism for her in the future. I thought that interview was interesting as well because she wanted to own that she was a part of the decision-making around Afghanistan. And, you know, I can't predict the polls, but I do think it's been a largely unpopular withdrawal. And I think we're going to see polling that reflects that in the coming weeks ahead. But she was very comfortable kind of digging her heels in and saying, no, I was there. I was the last person in the room. It was the right decision. So we'll see where her numbers have her going forward. And the one thing I would note is she's traveling to Asia soon, too, which is a big moment for her to appear on the international stage alone representing the administration. So an opportunity for her numbers and approval to go up or potentially plummet. Kim, what do you think?
I mean, I don't think that this was a good thing for her to be like, I was there and I was guiding him. I was the last person. I mean, we'll see how the numbers are next week. For her and Biden. You know, I'm really curious to see how the entire debacle of Afghanistan plays on both of them in the coming weeks.
My own guess is we'll see a pretty fast rebound. The quick polling numbers that I saw support for withdrawal falling from the high 60s down to the high 40s. So dropped about 20 points, but it was still significantly above water. So even amidst all of those scenes of chaos, and what Kuntz called tragedy porn that was unfolding on television, you still had significant support for withdrawing. And so I think as you move a week or two away from those scenes, depending on how things go in Afghanistan, I think you'll see it rise back up into the 60s again.
I'm a bit more skeptical, but we'll see. But as I mentioned this week, Vice President Harris is heading east to Singapore and Vietnam in efforts to firm up relations there and help the region prepare to fight future pandemics. So do you think the situation in Afghanistan could impact America's standing with its allies, particularly as she's in Southeast Asia?
I mean, certainly, the U.S. has, took a bit of a black eye over the weekend, and it's. I'm sure she's annoyed at the fact that she's going to Vietnam, not the best symbolism, as Vietnam in 1975 is all of a sudden back in the news, but I don't think it'll have a long-lasting impact. We still have a military that spends 100 times more than the closest competitor, and nobody thinks that we couldn't kind of turn all of Afghanistan into glass if we felt like it. But we're just not any good at nation building because we don't actually try to actually build up nations.
So I actually think it's a very interesting time for her to be in Southeast Asia, where the whole focus is on the long-term battle with China and how we're going to hold China accountable. And she's going to be meeting with allies of the U.S. who want to know that they're going to have long-term U.S. commitment and support. And Josh Rogan of the Washington Post, who I frequently reference on this show, made the point that, if I were Taiwan right now, seeing what we did to the Afghanis, I would never bank on the U.S. coming in on our behalf if there were a Chinese invasion in the future. So I think there's going to be real skepticism when she appears in both Singapore and Vietnam about just our commitment to places outside of home and just in the U.S. Kim, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was just going to say is I don't know if it would really matter to Singapore or Vietnam, but if she were going to Taiwan, that would be a whole different story. They are very afraid right now. I'm getting messages from people who are worried about Taiwan because they see what's happened and they think that China now has the green light to go ahead and, let's say, invade or take Taiwan or something. They're worried about this because they're thinking, well, America's shown that they're not going to do anything. And even if they did, do you want them to? That's a big question people have.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for watching, and we will see you next time.